Oi, pessoal, tudo bom? Eu sou o Bruno e hoje eu estou aqui com um convidado muito especial, minha primeira entrevista aqui no Ambiortsim, e eu espero que vocês gostem do vídeo de hoje. Eu estou aqui, convidei hoje para falar comigo o Elijah, ele cuida do The Bjork Collector, é o Instagram dele, e eu convidei ele para falar um pouco a respeito de como ele conheceu a Bjork, enfim, contar um pouco mais da história dele. Elijah, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Nice to talk to
Thank
you.
you. Thank you for accepting my invitation here.
Oh,
So, want to know a little more about you. Tell me about your life. Where do you live? What do you do? Things
yeah.
like
I keep it kind of a mystery on my Instagram page.
that. Yeah.
Um, I live in Los Angeles. I grew up in LA, so I've always been in California.
Yeah.
Um, I'm an artist and designer and fabricator. I work in the film industry, so I do set design, production design, prop making, fabrication of items. Special effects items sometimes. It just kind of depends on the project. But that's what I do for a living. So that's my gig.
When was the first time you had some connection with Bjork's work, and what did it mean to your life?
Well, I would have to say it's debut and human behavior because that was the first song that like really kind of blew me away in the music video, and it was like '93, so it was probably like 15 at the time. So it was probably like perfect music. And I quickly realized that this was also the girl from the Sugar Cubes, which I was familiar with, but like, I didn't have any albums at that point. So as soon as I fell in love with Debut, I was like, boom, I went and bought all of the Sugar Cube stuff, which I remember hearing Birthday and I remember hearing Motor Crash. Those are the two that I can remember, like knowing or seeing on MTV. Um, so yeah, I would say it started with Debut and Human Behavior. That was the first CD that I bought, the first single that I bought. It's
And when did
93.
you start collecting Bjork's material? How did it happen?
That happened just because I'm a collector. I collect a lot of things that I like. So I collect comic books. I collect movie posters, movie stuff, movie props, a bunch of different things. So it kind of just became a collection because I kept buying items as they came out. Bought the CDs, bought the singles. Would try to pick up, the 12 inches when I saw them. So, you know, I it started really early. Like it started at the very beginning. Like as soon as Debut came out, I was like, oh, I'm getting all of this stuff. And there's other artists I have big collections of, but Bjork's obviously like the most complete and full. But that's really only because I've never stopped buying everything like as it's been released. So if I knew it was coming out and I could buy it, I would buy it. There were some things I needed to plug in along, later on. There were some things I needed to buy on eBay or whatever. When eBay first started, I was like one of the first people buying items off eBay. So
You
I've been
were
doing it for a long
just
time.
following the release.
Just following the release, and I mean,
Yeah.
maybe it comes from Star Wars toys or comic books or whatever, because comic books are like a weekly thing, and if you want the whole story, you buy all the comic books. So I was into that as a kid, and still am. But I've got the collector mentality built into me.
Great. And do you remember what was the first item you bought from Bjork's work?
Oh yeah, Debut. It was it's this particular. No, not that one. Maybe it was that one. This particular one. No, this is it. Sorry, a couple different versions of. This is the
You
first
have
one
a
I
lot
bought.
of versions.
This is the first one I remember. And it's like it keeps so good. It's perfect, no scratches.
Great.
But this is the first one I bought, and then I bought the singles for Human Behavior right after that. So.
And since then, do you have an idea how much items do you have in your collection now?
A lot. I just hold on. I just had my Discogs pulled up, and it's not updated. Um, but it says I have about 384 items altogether. I think that's off because I haven't updated my Discogs in a long time.
And Elijah, I'd like to know what is the rarest item do you have in your collection? And I'd like to know if you could show it to us.
Sure. I have a lot of rare items. You know, a lot of rare vinyl and hard to find things, but the most rarest thing that I own is the handmade booklet that Bjork made, or the Sugar Cubes made, I should say, back in like 1983, 1984. It's very rare. There's said to be like 100 of them. It's a very limited thing. And it's just a little storybook. I've had it translated and it's kind of in a made up language. It's Icelandic with like other made up words in it. But it's just like a little story about a character. And it's really cool. This is all like, you can feel it. It's crayon and ink, and they're all different. So if there's 100 of them, they're all slightly different. Which is,
It's completely unique. That's
it's
crazy.
completely unique. It was all the black ink is printed. So it was like, they printed a bunch of them and then they were all colored in. And you know, you have some of these like little drawn in characters. Those were all done separately. So it is very unique. Each one's very different.
And what do you think about collection nowadays? What have changed since you started to do it?
What's changed? I mean, before I got into it before there was internet and before there was any online buying or whatever. So that makes things a lot easier because you can just go onto Discogs and you can find the exact serial number of printing that you want, which is amazing. But also takes away from being able to like go somewhere and find it, which is, I think for most collectors, they like finding it versus finding it online. It's cool, but like if you're at a store and boom, like the one item you're looking for is there, you're gonna be happy. It's probably gonna be less expensive than you would buy online. You don't have to pay for shipping and all that stuff. So the hunt per item is
it's like hunting a treasure or something.
Is a lot different. And it's like if you're looking for something that everyone else is looking for and it's online, you have to compete with everybody else. And the price that someone may ask for online may not be what that item's worth. And a lot of things. It doesn't just have to be vinyl or records or CDs or anything, but that's the big thing that's changed in collecting, is that like people can kind of ask whatever they want for it, and it pushes up the price. It makes it harder for some people to get, although it may not necessarily be worth that much. So
yes, I know.
Those are the things that I notice, and luckily I was able to like acquire everything that I have before like it got too crazy with prices, because everybody always asks me like, oh, how much did it cost you to buy all this stuff? And I'm like, well, retail. I pay retail prices. And I've just been doing it for so long. It's like when the big items come along and I have to buy something for a couple $100 because it's like, a box set or whatever, I don't mind doing it because I know that's going to be like the least that I'm ever going to pay for it. If you don't get it when it's released, the chances are you're going to be paying a lot more.
You're going to pay a lot of money.
A lot more.
That's
shipping or trying to find it, or like, oh, I'll get it eventually. It's like if you can get it when it comes out, try to get it when it comes out. That's
actually, I think collection is a kind of lifestyle, because
it definitely is. It definitely is. A lot of people don't collect stuff, and most of what I have is I would consider part of a collection. So.
Yes. It tells a story about you. It tells a story about what you like, your life,
it's like
enjoy,
it's like my diary. I'm not a writer.
Yeah.
Like my whole life is here. Like I know when I bought I can remember when I bought it, where I was, who, all that stuff. So
Yes, and what about your Instagram? How did you start it?
I started Instagram. I actually wanted to do. I started the YouTube page first. Is what I wanted to do, and I tried doing it myself. Tried recording my own videos or blogs, and I'm like, maybe I can't like talk to camera and like be compelling. So
Yeah.
I decided to just start posting my collection on Instagram, and I did look at other people's page, and I kind of like, made a conscious decision of how I would post things. And because I have a very complete collection, it's like I knew that I could like post in order and post by release date, and then by single, and like do album at a time, and make my page look interesting, so I would stand out from. I've been doing it for I think 5 years now, and it's been good. I mean, I've met way more Bjork fans than I know in my personal my personal life. So it's just nice to be able to share my collection with people and get comments and help people out finding things. And I've done a few giveaways where I just give out items. So I like giving back, and I like Bjork, and I want other people to like Bjork. So that's that's why I post it. I want people to like her as much as I like her.
Yes, I like this network thing, when you meet
Right.
someone because of an artist or something that you
Right.
like, you have in common.
Right.
Just like this conversation right now, that's so, you know, unthinkable for me in another time. Or if I didn't have the nerve to record this video, to start my YouTube channel,
Right.
I
I
know
have
that's great.
yeah, I have lots of Star Wars fans. I mean, lots of Star Wars friends and comic book friends, and we can talk about all that stuff. And there's plenty of that stuff online, but like, it's nice to be able to talk about an artist that I love so much with someone who also appreciates her. So,
Yeah, that's true. And you told me already that you have another collection things. And what else do you collect? You collect
oh,
comic books, you
I have a
said.
lot of stuff. I have comic books. I should have brought some of this stuff out, but I have a lot of comic books. Um, there's a lot of not a lot of superhero stuff, but there's a lot of like unique stories that you can't get anywhere else other than comic books. Um, One comic book I would suggest to like everyone watching this is Saga. Um, it's a great comic book. You can get it in trade paperback. Um, it's beautiful art, and you're never going to get a movie of it. You're never going to get a TV show of this comic book. It's a great story, and there's lots of books out there that I like. I like visual stuff. I like looking at art while I'm reading it. So I like comic books. I have big collections of other musicians, other bands.
Yeah.
So I have that. I have a big collection of um, the Flaming Lips is as a band I like a lot, and I have a lot of their stuff. Um, Sex Pistols and Public Image, and a lot of old classic punk rock stuff. I was big into like two-tone ska, so like the Specials and Madness and Bad Manners.
Are you listening right
Toastmasters.
now? Just like, what do you recommend? I'm gonna search this comic
Oh,
book. I'm not so into comic book, but I'm gonna search for Saga.
hold on. I'll get my recent listening records right here, and let me grab just the cover of this comic book. This is by Brian K. Vaugh, and the artist is Fiona Staple. It's called Saga. I'm sure it's printed in pretty much every language right now. Brian K. Vaugh is a great writer. He also wrote Y the Last Man. This is like an adult read, so it has adult material in it. But the artwork is amazing. It's a female artist, so like all this artwork is from a female artist. It's just a beautiful story. It's about two aliens and having a child and trying to escape from bounty hunters chasing them. It's a really great comic book, and this is the first trade paperback. There's 8 of these right now.
Great.
So
It's the new thing.
It's a new thing.
Great.
I'd recommend that. And then if you're talking about vinyl, I'm a vinyl guy, so I listen to my music on vinyl. I have lots of CDs, but you know, I'm constantly using my record player here.
Great.
And this is just some of the stuff that I listen to a lot recently. And I was thinking myself that at the end of the year, I'm on my page, I'm going to do like a my favorite things of 2020, because
Great.
2020 has been not good for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But I did buy some cool stuff. So I have new stuff, and I'm like, I'll post that. But real quickly, this is some of the vinyl that I've been listening to. This is